What's up everybody, Coach Kyle here, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for future content notifications, look back at old videos, there's a bunch of them, and if you find this topic especially helpful or interesting, please share it. And I want to talk really briefly about your easy run pace and how it changes based on the type of training you're doing, and more specifically looking at myself and my spring marathon training and my current 5K training. I don't normally run with a GPS. For like track tempo type workouts, I'll track the speed, the splits, etc. But for my easy general runs, it's not super common that I track those. I have a 6-mile route, so I can just go run 6 miles easy. But I do track it here and there. And what's really interesting to see, and what is so incredibly important to be mindful of, is that if you're running 50 to 70 miles a week versus 30 miles a week, your easy run pace, at the same effort, that easy conversational pace is going to be faster at the same effort at 30 miles a week versus 50 to 70 miles a week. So it's incredibly important to keep in mind that if you're doing 2 workouts weekly versus 1 workout, if you're running in the summer versus the fall, if you're running in the morning versus the afternoon or evening, if you're running in marathon training versus 5K training, these things all affect your easy run pace. And sometimes it's hard to see your pace, your easy run pace, your efforts staying the same. Sometimes it's hard to see it be a minute slower per mile when you're in marathon training. But it's important you have to think globally. Think about the entire scheme of things, what's going on. It's not just this isolated, easy run. It's, 30 miles a week versus 65 miles a week, so take that into consideration and be okay with a slower, easy pace. A slower, easy pace means you're doing it right because you're running at the appropriate level, the appropriate effort, and you're okay running slower because that's what your body is dictating. And it makes sense. If you have 50 to 70 mile weeks, you're going to have a lot more accumulated fatigue during the week, during the month, than you will running 30 miles a week. So obviously it makes sense. It's just very important to both be mindful that this is probably going to happen, but it's also very important to be okay with letting it happen, because skipping easy days is just as hindering to your training as skipping those hard quality sessions. And skipping easy days means running them too hard. It's no longer an easy day, it's a moderate day, or maybe even a hard day at that point. That means you're sacrificing that recovery, that rejuvenation, that adaptation that is so important for those easy days. Currently, for example, today I averaged an 8:15 mile average pace for a 3-mile jog in the afternoon with my mouth closed for 95% of it. I was nasal breathing for most of it. And during marathon training for an easy run, I'd probably average 9:30 per mile. And that would even maybe be with my mouth open, breathing through my mouth. So, and my easy pace has always been a little slower than, those running calculators would suggest. But I've always been in, 50, 60, 70 mile per week, training volumes when I'm training for a race. And now I really cut my volume back to about 30 miles a week, give or take. So there's a big difference, and it might be harder for me to get this and wrap my head around this if I go back to half or full marathon training or ultra marathon training, and I see my easy pace slow down. But I'm probably going to be doing 70, 100-mile weeks once in a while. So that's just part of the program. And Like I said, it's very important to be mindful of this and be okay with letting it happen. And this is something I really stress to the clients I coach. Humidity is going to slow you down a lot. That's just how it goes. There's nothing you can do about it. So something I stress is that you have to be okay with this happening. And just look forward to when you're going to be running faster in the fall. So it just comes and goes. If you want to talk more about coaching, or if you have any running questions or comments, drop a comment below. Contact me via email. There's a contact button on my website down here. So get a hold of me and we'll chat. And as always, you keep running, I'll keep coaching.